This is a special presentation of EA Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland. Our tribute to the coach, the John Madden Legacy Game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings. And coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football certainly is going to live on for decades and decades to come. Now, we've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today. And Coach himself will be on the sidelines for both squads, trying to motivate his guys to victory. And I'm joined now by my good friend Charles Davis. CD, your thoughts on John Madden and what he meant to the sport he loves so much?
For me, Brandon, it's the word joy. He brought that to the game of football, brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward, when you think of football, you're always going to think John Madden.
One time for old times. What do you say we play some football as we are underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy Game? And he'll get it up past the 20 to about the 22. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden. This is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
And an early how do you do right there as they're going to bury him in the backfield. It'll go as a loss of a yard on the game's first play. Second down.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed, strength, quickness, he's the whole package. And that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
Here's Favre to throw. Tries for Rice, intercepted. And the return will stop right around the 25.
Someone's down there checking on the head coach right now because he might be a little bit of shock after what just transpired. Instead of a lengthy opening drive to deal with, his guy stepped up and stole that drive away. Momentum on their side now. How will they attack on offense?
So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD. 759, the best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in a conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came out late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36, 16, and 2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. They keep it on the ground. Allen again. And a couple of yards as they move it from the 21 to the 19. They had great starting position to begin the drive, and now they look up at a 3rd and 5. To throw is Brady. He's got Allen. And he will be knocked down hard, but he will have the first down. Give him the 3rd down conversion. 5 yards on the play. After getting that turnover on the first drive of the game, you'd hate to just stall out the momentum, go 3 and out. They're able to avoid that there.
And we talk about complementary football all the time, but I think it's a little bit deeper than that. Defense went out, forced a turnover.
And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
Okay, I'm not sure you could actually draw a better pass rush than that one right there. Nowhere to go outside. He had to keep backing up and backing up and backing up. Eventually dropped for a huge loss.
So now 20 yards to go on second down after the sack. Work to be done. Brady. And pressure coming, and they got him once again. The pressure from multiple guys there as they bury him for a big 9-yard loss. They'll make that a second sack here on their first drive out defensively, and not to get ahead of ourselves, but they're on pace for double-digit sacks at this point.
But they're going to have to find a way to tamp that down, aren't they? So if you're the play caller, you're telling your quarterback maybe some screens, maybe some draws, hard count, use your voice inflection a little bit, anything to try and slow that pressure down.
Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after first and second down went backwards. It's third and very long. Here's Brady. Over the middle, complete. It's Allen. And he's going to be taken down, but there's a penalty flag in the backfield. Is this a hold, or did they rough the quarterback? Ouch, you thought you had the defensive stand. Roughing the passer wipes it out.
What does every defense talk about? 3 and out, right? Thought they were able to get off the field. Not so.
Off the draw, here's Williams. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, second and 2. So we're through one at the Coliseum in Oakland. 0-0 our score. This is the John Madden Legacy game on EA Sports. The AFC with the football here to begin the second quarter. From the 4, it's second and a couple. On second and 2, Brady under pressure now, and he's going to go down. Sack back around the 8. Multiple defenders there to drop him for a loss of 4. So, Charles, no turnovers yet for this offense, but those sacks now, they're starting to pile up.
And one thing usually leads to another because they've got to figure out how the offensive line and everyone else involved in protection can keep their quarterback upright and allow him a chance to throw the ball downfield.
So it's 3rd and 6, and this will be the 8th play of the drive. Now Brady. Under pressure, they got him again. Looks like a 9-yard loss, and it also brings up 4. So that now 4 first-half sacks. This pass rush has been unrelenting.
And, partner, you hear that sound of paper being ripped to shreds? That's the game plan that they've had so far because they've got to say to themselves right now, we have to do something differently.
On now is Vinatieri as he'll try the field goal. This will be a 34-yard attempt. The career leader in field goals made knocks that one through. And the AFC on the board first. It's 3-0. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball, what's the first thing the coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense, the firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. The NFC offense coming out here. And you know, Charles, Coach Madden always said that if he had one drive to win a game, that he had to pick a quarterback, he would pick Kenny Stabler. But I think if you asked him to omit any of his Raiders players, there's a good chance the guy he'd select will be Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is always smiling. He's always laughing. He's always talking to someone. He remembers that it's a game. And if it's a game, you should have fun.
And, Brandon, that always reminds me of a great movie line where one of the players was telling the coach, every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. And every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. With Coach, it was always a game.
They start on the ground here at Sanders. And not much doing there, maybe a yard up to the 23. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. And they go play action with Favre. That'll be caught by Rice. Call it a gain of 6 on the play. And this will wind up being a 3rd and 3.
A nice catch there by Jerry Rice. And when you look at the yardage he compiled in his NFL career, it seems staggering at 22,985 yards. But let's put a little context with it.
Yeah, we ran the numbers earlier. Larry Fitzgerald, who is contemplating retirement this past offseason. Well, the pressure gets home, and the AFC comes up with a sack. Now the AFC going to use the first of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside. So on 4th down, here's the Australia native Mitch Wishnowsky to punt this one away. Back deep, 2-time Pro Bowler Dante Hall. And a fair catch taken back near about the 35, 36-yard line. And the AFC making their way out, and it's one of Coach's favorites, another local guy, Tom Brady, who will be at the controls. And boy, Coach always admired the way number 12 could run an offense, and especially his ability to stay calm under pressure.
Tom Brady is a guy who's always looking downfield. He never looks at the rush. He hangs in the pocket, and he makes a throw. He's a cool guy, and he's a tough guy. Let me tell you, there's no one calmer in the pocket than Tom Brady.
And I know that Coach has a great appreciation for Tom Brady, who turned 45 back on August 3rd, because Coach coached a guy like him in George Blanda, who played a long time in the NFL. In this game, it features legends and active players. Tom Brady qualifies as both.
Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. Now a toss play. Allen. 3rd down, now even tougher. 3rd and 13 after that loss of a yard. Now a 2nd timeout called for by the defense as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw.
Oh, that's into a sea of bodies, and it's intercepted.
Deion Sanders, the Hall of Famer, with a pick. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. Wow, so wipe out the INT, roughing the passer. What a disaster.
An absolute disaster, and you hope their lockers are not right next to each other for the postgame. Safe to say one is not buying the other dinner.
All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted.
Picked off by Deion Sanders. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, now we're starting a little game of hot potato here. Turnovers on back-to-back plays.
And that inclination is always there, isn't it, partner? Because when your defense forces a turnover, you get that quick change situation, and you know your offense coordinator is thinking, let's dial up a deep ball right away and go after them. But this defense, they went out there and they were ready to go and took it away.
The NFC heading back out. Hall of Famer Randy Moss, a part of this offense. And Coach Madden, boy, he always appreciated the ferociousness with which number 84 attacked the football in the air.
As Randy Moss says, just chunk it up there, dog, and I'll go get it.
And, Coach, boy, did he ever go get it. Over 15,000 receiving yards, 156 touchdowns. And how about this? From his rookie year of 1998 until 2009, those were his prime seasons, right? He led the league in touchdowns 5 times, but even more so, he showed us all how to go up and get it. Great body control. No one's ever done it better playing the ball in the air.
Here they come, 2nd and 10 now from the 10.
To throw is Favre.
The first catch of the game for George Kittle. And out of bounds across the 15-yard line. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. Off the play fake, here's Favre. And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line. First down now, but that clock rolling. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Now the NFC going to use their 3rd and final timeout as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in half number 1. 2nd and 14 as they've got work to do here after the sack. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And that's picked up by the AFC. And his guys will take over at the 25-yard line. Every week we hear talk about create turnovers, create turnovers. In particular, they wanted to force some fumbles. They got one right there.
And it shows you how the game has changed over time. It used to be good enough for a guy to get a sack of a quarterback in the pocket. Now, if you come to the sidelines and you didn't knock the ball free, your coaches are upset with you. All right, so if you're a quarterback, it starts all the way back in the youth leagues. Take care of the ball, take care of the ball, take care of the ball, because here come the defenders.
On the toss, here's Allen. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line. Now the AFC going to take a timeout. It's their second as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. Well, the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14. That throw by Brady incomplete.
Good coverage on the outside, and I think that's where he wanted to check that down to. But once he saw the danger over there, he just threw that one over everyone's head. Smart play.
Here's Allen. And he'll get this one down to about the 27. Just a gain of 2 there, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. On now is Vinatieri as he'll try the field goal. He hit his first one. This from 44 yards out now. Vinatieri's kick is good, and that will do it. So we are at halftime with a John Madden Legacy game, and now we present a special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by the Raiders' own Trey Mosley.
What comes to mind when you hear the name Madden? Is it the coach who led the Raiders to their first Super Bowl victory? Perhaps it's the broadcaster who entertained millions of fans. Or maybe it's the video game known simply by his name. But no matter what comes to mind when you hear the name Madden, everyone thinks of one thing: football.
The core of it was football. It's the greatest game in the world. The left goes to the right goes to the left.
Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. John Madden goes on the shoulders of his players.
In my mind, John Madden is the most important figure in the history of professional football. Show me somebody else who did it on 3 levels the way John did it. There's nobody.
Boy, Charles, yeah, that is really well done. Coach was something else, wasn't he?
I'm reminded what Al Davis said when he was inducted coach of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Brandon. He loved the game. He loved his team. He loved the Raiders. He loved this league. And you can see it with everything he does.
No doubt. But it's quite possible, though, that now he would say, hey, enough of that. Let's play some football. The second half forthcoming from Oakland. The offense for the AFC set to go now. And they've got the lead. CD, what do you think the message was at halftime?
I don't think the message was too drastic, I think, at the half, or that they need to change things too much. I do think the offensive line could play a little bit better. I think they'll try and help them out more. They'll probably keep a tight end in a few more times and maybe add a running back to the formation to pick up those pass rushers.
Trying for Brown, and it's intercepted. Picked up by LT, the Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor. That is a tough way to start the third quarter. You get the football open and drive it down, put it in the end zone, and take the lead. Instead, they give them the football.
And I think the key here is for them to not get discouraged. That is not how they drew it up, not how they saw it in their minds. But there's a long way to go in this game. You know, they've just got to find a way to come back one play at a time. Yes, it's a cliche, but they can get it done.
So quite a turn of events. This is first and goal from the 3. They'll try to run for it here with Dickerson. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all. They'll say no gain on the play, and it'll be second and goal. And they'll run again, but he will go backwards as he's stopped for a loss. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
This defense is just flat getting after it. They have not given up much of anything in the run game. Case in point right there.
Now, they'd really like to make the short field pay off. We'll see if they can, but this is 3rd and goal. And now a first chance for the backup here to throw. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
We've seen these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
Anderson's kick is good, and they're on the board, trailing now 6-3. So kind of disappointing there. And yes, they get the 3 with a starting field position like that. 3's not really making it.
No, and you just have to wonder if you can afford to let chances like that continue to pass you by. You've got to find ways to get the ball into the end zone and put 6s on the scoreboard.
This will be fielded inside the 5. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line. The AFC offense set to take their next drive. Their defense has done the job. Now it's the offense's turn as they've got it 1st and 10. So now, Charles, to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42, he just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, he was pretty much an instant success.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember he wasn't even on the number 1.
And Brady going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Deion Sanders, the Hall of Famer, with a pick. And the return this time will go out to the 42-yard line.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense.
How big is that penalty? Wipe out the INT.
You'd hate to be the teammate that caused that penalty and wiped out the interception. You got to face that guy in the locker room. Not a lot of fun for you, and you hurt your squad.
He finds his man, complete. That's Gonzalez. Down he goes at the 49, a 3-yard pickup. So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went on and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together, Pat Summerall, short, concise, to the point, and turned it over to Coach Madden to fill in all the big details.
They'll run with Allen. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you talk about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him, and now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving, when he used words like boom and pow. He helped create the old Madden team. He was a very popular commercial pitch man. And even the Madden Cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too.
On 2nd and 9, Brady. Allen has it left side. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10.
Now, CD, we did get a little ahead of ourselves talking about John Madden, the broadcaster in the 90s and 2000s, because there was another product during that time period that he became quite famous for. And it's something that you and I know a little bit about, and that's the video game that bears his name. Originally John Madden Football when it was first released back in the late 1980s, and now known the world over simply as Madden.
And Coach saw this originally.
And he will take this in for an AFC touchdown. Jerome Bettis taking it in from 11 yards out. And the AFC is in for 6. What a huge touchdown that was, obviously, here in the late stages of the fourth quarter as they try to put this one away.
And, Brandon, when they watch the film after this week, they'll be very proud of every rep if they close this game out. Just a few snaps remaining. They can't relax just yet.
Vinatieri connecting on the extra point. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. So that runner takes him down the field in 8 plays. And in the end, the finishing touch at 11-yard line. And here's Vinatieri now to kick it away after the touchdown.
Taking it about the 1.
Now on the return, oh no, the ball is loose. And that's picked up by the AFC. And he is going to get this one back to the 20-yard line. Now a carry for Allen. And he is going to lose yardage here. Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. They'll keep it on the ground. It's Allen.
So, CD, you look at the accumulation of John Madden's achievements in the world of football, the coaching success, the Super Bowl title, the incredible career as a broadcaster with 12 Emmy Awards, Madden the video game. It was very fitting back in 2006 that John Madden got the call to be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A more deserving person you will not find. He gave an incredible speech on that day, Brandon. So many of his former Raider players were in attendance. He talked about how he envisioned that when the last person turns off the lights in the hall every night, that the bus talk football amongst themselves. And what a discussion that might be.
Yeah, he finished his speech by saying, "Today feels like the second time in my life that I'm being carried off on the shoulders of others. Yet instead of off the field, it's into the Hall of Fame. This has been the sweetest ride of them all."
Gotta figure the rush is going to be fierce again as they come up 2nd and 13. Victory very much in sight now as they'll take a knee. A lot of tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play, 3rd and goal. Brady will take a knee here, and that should just about do it.
So it's a win here for the AFC on an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. Before we go, one final message, and for all of us at EA Sports, this one's for you, Coach.
I just say this, I thank you all very much. This has been the sweetest ride of them all.